Joshua, you bring us another documentary with more tears, some happy tears again. We got to connect in 2021 for The Loneliest Whale.
Yep.
And
An interesting follow-up.
yes, it is. Exactly. Um, so Tommy, you're the director in this documentary. I'm imagining that you got footage that you weren't beforehand, that was filmed beforehand before you got involved.
Yeah. So I had been wanting to make a movie about war, as a lot of journalists and filmmakers do, but I was looking for an interesting entree point into that war. And this war came up. I had read an article on the front page of the New York Times about a chimp named Chi-Chi who had escaped from a temporary zoo in Kharkiv, which is the second largest city in Ukraine. They said that this zoo had been moved from another zoo that had been bombed terribly called Feldman Eco Park. And Chi-Chi, this was about 4 months into the war, Chi-Chi had escaped from the Kharkiv zoo and was walking through the middle of Freedom Square, looking around. And they believed she was trying to go home to Feldman Eco Park. And it was amazing to me. Here you had a chimpanzee escaping, looking for its freedom. It's walking through the middle of Freedom Square 4 months into the war, while the Ukrainian people are looking for their freedom from bombing. But it was also, there was video. And in the video, you see them panning across the crowd, and everybody is watching this chimpanzee. They're mesmerized and they're smiling. And these are people who had just endured 4 months of horrific war, not knowing if they're going to live or die from one moment to the next. But in seeing this chimp in an unusual circumstance, in this one moment, they smiled. And that's when I said, okay, this is a story that's worth telling.
So then later on, how was it that you got in touch with people from the Feldman Echo Park?
I put in Feldman Eco Park into Google. I saw a telephone number literally the next day. I said, I wonder if I should call them. Like, are they even going to answer the phone? I don't know. So I put Feldman Eco Park into Google. Telephone number came up. I called them. I said, hi, my name is Josh Zeman. I'm a documentary filmmaker. I don't speak any Ukraine. They didn't speak any English. I tried to type in on the phone a little bit of what I was saying. And I think they were in a little bit of shock, and so was I. And then the next day, one of the guys who you see in the film, named Vadim, he called me and he said, of course, we would love for you to make a documentary about the war in general to show everybody what's going on in America, but Feldman Eco Park. He said, would you like me to send you footage that went viral? I said, yes, I would. And he sent me one of the videos that you see in the film of Timothy, this young volunteer driving, kind of doing a selfie video. He's talking about the war, and then he moves the camera, and you see over his shoulder a Sprinter van full of kangaroos. And it was so cute and it was so funny. I was like, this is amazing. I said, type back, Vadim, do you have any more? And he's like, I have much more viral footage. Would you like me to send you? And I said, yes, please. And so every night over this kind of like FlexNet, this streaming service that they use, he would send me footage, and I would wake up in the morning and I would look at it, and it was amazing. When you watch TikTok or any social media and you see these videos of people like rescuing, disentangling whales, or taking like a pail that's on a bear's head or a raccoon's head, and the minute they take that pail up, you see the raccoon turn around and almost say thank you. There were all these moments in the film of animals having this unique moment with people. And that's when I said, oh my God, there's a movie here. It's fascinating. There were so many moments in which you could see that interconnection between people and animals. And the thing is, war, by its definition, it's so brutal. It's meant to strip away your humanity. That's one of the purposes of war. But in saving these animals, these people not only save these animals, they save themselves. And I think that was the lesson, how animals can help you not only save yourself, save other human beings, but become a better person.
One of the characters in the documentary, says it, he had a destructive life and then he came to the zoo to work and saved him.
So that guy, Andre, he's first of all, he's huge. He's like a completely tough guy when you see him, but he's one of those gentle giant archetypes. I first got to the zoo. I saw this guy. I think he was holding a ferret, and he was just petting the ferret the whole time. Or he picks up all animals and pets them all the time. I said, "Oh, that must be the head zookeeper." And they're like, "No, that guy just started 2 weeks ago." And I was like, but he has this way with these animals that's I've never seen before. And they're like, "Yeah, that's Andre. He's crazy." That's what they would say. He's not really crazy. He's like a daredevil. That's what they mean. But then when I heard his story that he had been homeless, eating out of trash cans, and tried to commit suicide and was a drug addict, and then Feldon had given him a place to live and started his rehabilitation, that's when I knew who he truly was. It's only when human beings really get down to their base self, savage, if you will, do they truly appreciate not just other people, but that bond because it's about love, right? It's about yeah, it's about love. I think that's what it was, and how an animal can love you unequivocally, unconditional love. And so he didn't love himself, and then he found the unconditional love of animals, and that helped him love himself better.
You have one of the characters also says, it's not a super, like it's not a special technique to be able to save these animals. It's just about, having the determination and the love for them too.
Yeah. And it's interesting because people say, well, how can they risk lives to save animals? And I said, how can you not? Not because I'm an unbelievably hardcore animal advocate. Of course, I love animals, but I'm just not that type of person. But I am some person who knows that these animals saved these people. It wasn't the people saving the animals, it was the animals saved these people and made them so much better, helped them learn about empathy, compassion, and selflessness, the things that really matter in life and the things we're in such short supply of these days. So to me, it was a no brainer. And then they said, well, are you scared going over there? I said, not at all. I'm making a movie about people who are compassionate, empathetic, and selfless. Like that makes me a better person. So, no, I'm not scared. I'm happy to go. I want to make this movie. I want to tell their story.
Be honest with you that I went in watching this movie not sure what I was gonna think because I love animals. I have this on my desk, like
That's what she says in the movie.
yes, that's what she says in the film. And so like I'm not about zoos. I don't go
Yeah.
to many of those places. I'm like the wildlife should not be behind a fence. So for me watching this, it was kind of heartbreaking from the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
but then seeing that, how there are some people that will go give anything to save them. Um, at least I know that these people at zoos can feel that way and feel like they're their children.
Oh, absolutely. And yes, and look, I don't think this film or we're going to solve the zoo issue with this film, but I think this film is going to open up a conversation because we're seeing animals. It's one thing when you have your animal at home and or seeing an animal in a zoo. It's another thing when you're seeing an animal terrified, terrified. That really makes you question what's going on. And I didn't know how I would feel. Some of my fondest memories are at zoos. Like anytime I would go to as a kid, I would go and I say, "Oh, let's go to the zoo, please." You know? So I didn't know how I would feel either. But I also learned the difference between educational zoos and zoos that are roadside attractions. That was an important lesson for me. I also learned that it's real easy for everybody to get behind saving a lion, but can you have that same amount of hardcore intensity for saving a guinea pig? Aren't they the same sentient life? And I think that's one of the things that the film does really well. It's hard to preach that message to people who aren't there in the beginning. But if they, like if you're not there, like, what are you talking about? I love zoos. Okay, I get it. But if you show them the film and they realize, as these boys did, they start out loving zoos and then they say, like, wait a second, you know, I'm not so sure that this is the right thing. I just went and had to save 4,750 animals. It's the point is seeing that realization on film, which I think is so important. It's not about preaching to the choir. It's about converting the unconverted.
Well, thank you, Josh, for your time. Congratulations. Until the next documentary, I'm sure you'll be making more and about these beautiful creatures.
And Nancy, please do me a favor. If you could have people go to checkpointzoo.com, if they can go to checkpointzoo.com, if you could put that out there, please. We'll be opening the film up in New York City this weekend. Please get everybody to come see it. If we sell out, then we could get more. Please, we'll be screening. Where are you located?
I'm in LA.
Great. We'll be in LA on the 21st, 22nd, 23rd, 24th. I hope you're going to come out and support. And we have a bunch of screenings. I hope people will be coming out to support. And I think I'd love to get into more of these important conversations in Q&As, and I'll be doing Q&As. And so, and if the film is not in your area, you can go in and put it in where you want it for a screening to be. I honestly think more than anything, I want the film to resonate with animal rescue people because I think animal rescue people see themselves in this film. And I think this could be a really important tool because it's not just about saving a lion or a tiger. It's about saving your cat at home. It's about saving your dog at home. There is no difference. There's no difference in sentient life. And we can do this in war, but we should also be doing it in peace.
Agree.
So I hope animal rescue groups look at the film and they can also use the film for screenings to fundraise because I think I see animal rescuers at home in this film.
That's true. Well, thank you again for your time and congratulations. And it will do.
Take care. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.